Have you ever walked into work and felt your stomach tighten before anyone even spoke? Have you ever gone home exhausted? Not from the tasks, but from the energy of the people around you. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about toxic workplaces, but not in the usual way where we only complain about bad bosses and difficult co-workers. Yes, those are real, but I want to take you deeper, into the level where your choices shape your inner freedom. Two ideas will guide this whole story. First, a toxic workplace is not only a place with problems, it is a training ground that reveals what your mind does under pressure, and pressure reveals your habits. Second, the way you respond at work becomes karma that follows you home. Because the mind does not end a meeting and then magically reset. It carries the residue into your sleep, your relationships, and your destiny. Let me start with a hard truth. Many people stay in toxic environments longer than they should. Not because they are weak, but because they are confused about what strength looks like. They confuse endurance with virtue. They confuse silence with professionalism. They confuse people-pleasing with kindness. They confuse self-betrayal with loyalty. And when these confusions pile up, the workplace becomes a slow leak in the soul. So how do you navigate it without becoming bitter, without becoming cruel, and without collapsing into helplessness? Let us tell it through a story. There is a person named Nadia. Not the original name, but the emotional truth is real. Nadia is competent, disciplined, and quietly proud of her work ethic. She believes good work will speak for itself. She believes effort will be recognized. She believes fairness will appear if she stays steady. Those beliefs are not naive. They are values. But values can become a trap when you use them to tolerate harm. Nadia joins a company that looks impressive from the outside. Good branding, strong promises, big words about culture and teamwork. In the first weeks, everything feels exciting. People smile. Meetings feel energetic. Nadia thinks she finally found a place where she can grow. Then the cracks appear, not as one big explosion, but as daily paper cuts. A manager publicly jokes about a colleague mistake, and the room laughs, and the colleague smiles. But the smile looks like survival. Nadia notices and feels uneasy. She tells herself it was just humor. Then a teammate takes credit for another teammate contribution. It is subtle. A sentence in a meeting. A small shift in language. Nobody challenges it. Nadia notices again, then feels that same unease. Then she hears gossip that sounds like entertainment. People talk about who is favored, who is failing, who is being pushed out. It feels like a game, but the game has real victims. Nadia begins to feel her nervous system change. She wakes up already thinking about work. She over-prepares for meetings. She rewrites emails 10 times. She becomes hyper, aware of facial expression. She starts reading tone into every message. This is what a toxic environment often does first. It trains you to scan for danger. And when your body is scanning all day, your spirit cannot rest. At this point, many people make a mistake. They try to fix the environment by becoming perfect. They work harder. They speak less. They say yes more. They try to become so useful that nobody can harm them. But this is the logic of fear. Fear says, if I become flawless, I will be safe. Life says, nobody is flawless, and safety does not come from performance alone. So Nadia pushes. She stays late. She takes extra tasks. She becomes the reliable one. People praise her, but the praise is thin. It comes with more work, not more respect. She begins to feel something bitter rising. The bitter feeling scares her, because she has always seen herself as kind. Now she catches herself having sharp thoughts about coworkers. She feels guilty. She tells herself she is becoming negative. But the truth is, she is becoming honest. The environment is injuring her, and her body is trying to protect her through anger. Anger is not always the enemy. Unconscious anger is the enemy. Conscious anger can become clarity. This is where wisdom enters. One day Nadia has a moment that becomes the turning point. A colleague quietly warns her that the manager has been blaming her for delays that were not her fault. The manager is building a story. Nadia feels the floor move. Her heart races, not only because of the injustice, but because she realizes something deeper. Her good work will not automatically protect her in a culture where power matters more than truth. That day she goes home and cannot relax. She wants to confront. She wants to expose. She wants to send messages to everyone. Then she remembers something she once heard. A simple teaching that sounds spiritual but is painfully practical. When you are triggered, do not let the first impulse write the next chapter of your destiny. So she pauses. She sits. She breathes. She watches the mind create revenge speeches. She watches the mind imagine humiliation for the manager. She watches the mind fantasize about quitting dramatically. She notices how sweet these fantasies feel for a moment, because they give the illusion of control. Then she notices how heavy she feels afterward. She realizes revenge is a drug. It gives a quick high and a long crash. This is karma becoming visible. Not cosmic karma. Nervous system karma. The action you rehearse in the mind shapes your inner climate. So Nadia chooses a different path. She chooses practice. The first practice is clarity. She stops relying on memory and emotion alone. She starts documenting work. She saves timelines. She confirms priorities in writing. She summarizes meetings with clear notes, not with paranoia, with professionalism. Clarity is compassion for your future self. It reduces the space where blame games can grow. The second practice is boundaries. She stops answering messages at midnight, not because she wants conflict, but because she wants health. She chooses a simple line. She will respond during work hours unless it is truly urgent. At first she is scared. She fears punishment, but she remembers the truth. If you never set boundaries, people treat you as a tool. A tool does not get respect. A human gets respect when they respect themselves. The third practice is speech discipline. This is a big one. Toxic workplaces thrive on reactive speech, complaints, sarcasm, gossip, subtle insults. Nadia notices how easy it is to join the poison and call it bonding. She decides she will not feed the poison. That does not mean she will be silent about harm. It means she will not participate in gossip that destroys trust. She will speak truth in the right place, in the right time, to the right person, in the right tone. This is where compassion becomes strength. Compassion does not mean being nice to everyone. Compassion means not spreading suffering, even when you are suffering. Now, a few weeks later, something interesting happens. The manager tries to blame Nadia in a meeting. Nadia stays calm. She does not attack. She does not freeze. She simply refers to the documented decisions and timelines. She uses facts, not anger. The room becomes quiet. The manager shifts to another topic. After the meeting, a co-worker tells Nadia they respect how she handled it. Nadia realizes she just did something powerful. She protected her dignity without becoming cruel. This is karma purification in real time. When you respond with calm truth instead of reactive drama, you create less mess. Less mess means less regret. Less regret means better sleep. Better sleep means better judgment. Better judgment is destiny protection. But the story does not end there, because toxic environments are not healed by one good meeting. Nadia still feels the stress. Some days the gossip returns. Some days the manager is passive-aggressive. Some days co-workers compete. Nadia cannot control all of it, so she learns the deeper lesson. In a toxic workplace, you must protect both your career and your soul. Protecting your career means building evidence, building skills, building allies, and keeping your work visible. Protecting your soul means keeping your inner life clean, so you do not become what is harming you. Now let us bring in another person to reveal a different angle. There is a man named Eric. Eric is new to his job and eager to belong. He laughs at jokes that feel cruel because he fears being excluded. He joins gossip because it makes him feel included. He stays silent when someone is humiliated because he fears being next. Eric tells himself he is just adapting, but inside he feels dirty. He goes home and feels restless. He does not know why. One night Eric talks to his older sister, and she asks a simple question. Are you being shaped by that place, or are you shaping yourself in that place? That question hits him, because he realizes a toxic workplace does not only drain you. It trains you. It trains you to accept disrespect. It trains you to betray your values. It trains you to become numb. And if you accept that training, you carry it into your future even if you change jobs. So Eric decides to train differently. He does not become a hero overnight. He starts small. When gossip starts, he changes the subject or leaves politely. When someone is mocked, he does not laugh. When he makes a mistake, he takes responsibility quickly so nobody can weaponize ambiguity. He also begins to build genuine relationships with a few trustworthy co-workers. Not alliances based on gossip, but relationships based on shared competence and respect. Over time, Eric feels something return. Self-respect. Self-respect is not arrogance. Self-respect is the feeling that you are not betraying yourself. And that feeling is peace. This is what I want you to notice. In toxic workplaces, the deepest harm is often moral injury, the quiet damage of acting against your values repeatedly, until your heart becomes confused. So how do you navigate toxicity while keeping compassion and wisdom alive? You begin with a foundation that is both spiritual and practical. You accept that you cannot control other people's behavior, but you can control your participation. Participation is karma. Karma shapes destiny. Then you practice 3 inner skills every day. The first is the pause. When something triggers you, pause before you speak. 1 breath. That breath is where awakening lies. Without pause, you are a puppet. With pause, you are free. The second is discernment. Not every battle is yours. Not every comment deserves a response. Not every provocation deserves your energy. Discernment is wisdom that saves your life force. The third is compassion with boundaries. You can understand that a toxic manager is insecure without letting them mistreat you. You can understand that a gossiping co-worker is anxious without joining the gossip. You can care about people without becoming their emotional trash bin. Now, there is another huge part of this topic that people avoid: the question of staying or leaving. Some people need to leave because the environment is damaging their health, their dignity, or their safety. Leaving is not failure. Leaving can be wisdom. But leaving without learning the lesson can repeat the pattern. Many people escape one toxic workplace and recreate the same dynamic elsewhere because the real habit was inside. The habit of people pleasing, the habit of silence, the habit of tolerating disrespect, the habit of fearing conflict. So the goal is not only to escape. The goal is to evolve. Nadia eventually decides to look for a new role. Not in panic. Strategically. She updates skills. She networks quietly. She interviews. She does not announce it to the office. She keeps doing good work while preparing her exit. This is a mature move. Desperation creates bad decision. Calm planning creates better outcomes. When she receives an offer, she resigns professionally. Her manager reacts with surprise and then attempts guilt. Nadia remains steady. She thanks them for the opportunity. She keeps the message clean. She leaves without burning bridges and without lying to herself. After she leaves, she feels a wave of relief so strong she almost cries. She realizes how heavy she had been carrying the atmosphere. She realizes how much of her life force was being spent on survival. Then she notices something beautiful. In the new workplace, she brings her learned wisdom. She sets boundaries early. She speaks clearly. She does not join gossip. She stays kind but firm, because she trained those skills in the fire. The toxic workplace was not a blessing, but she refused to let it make her bitter. She turned it into practice. This is the deepest spiritual point. You cannot always choose your environment immediately, but you can choose your response. Response is karma. Karma is destiny. Now I want to close with a reflection that often creates real resonance. Many people think spirituality is something you do in quiet hours. Meditation, prayer, chanting. And yes, those are valuable. But real spirituality is also how you behave when you are tired. When someone provokes you, when credit is stolen, when gossip is tempting, when fear says be silent, when ego says attack. In that moment, you either deepen wisdom or deepen suffering. If you respond with cruelty, you carry cruelty in your nervous system. If you respond with lies, you carry lies in your nervous system. If you respond with clarity and compassion, you carry freedom in your nervous system. So if you are navigating a toxic workplace, I want you to remember this. You do not need to become toxic to survive toxicity. You can survive through steadiness, clarity, boundaries, and strategic planning. You can protect your livelihood while protecting your heart. You can leave when the time is right, and you can leave with dignity. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Now, I want to hear from you in the comments. What is the hardest part of your workplace right now? Gossip, blame, unfair credit, micromanagement, passive aggression, bullying, or constant anxiety? And what one inner practice could help you most? Pausing before speaking, setting one boundary, documenting your work, or refusing to join poison talk. If you want more long-form storytelling that turns real-life stress into practical awakening, wisdom, karma clarity, compassion, and a destiny shaped by dignity, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment to support this space. Your support helps these teachings reach people who feel stuck and need a calm voice reminding them that they can be strong without becoming hard.